I'll never forget the moment my 2,000-pound Angus bull, Maverick, turned Linda Caldwell's picture-perfect tulip garden into a battlefield. Her screams echoed across the cul-de-sac as she teetered atop a birdbath, gripping a salad bowl like a warrior's shield. But the real chaos? That started a solid 10 hours earlier when someone who had no business being on my land clipped a wire they shouldn't have touched. It wasn't just any wire. That cable powered an electric fence that kept Maverick, a creature born of muscle, mischief, and unrelenting curiosity, securely within the bounds of my property. My ranch sat just beyond the recently expanded jurisdiction of the Willowgate Homeowners Association, an unassuming patch of land where I'd raised cattle, chickens, and one particularly territorial bull for decades. I had my rules. The land had its rhythm. Maverick had his domain. And the world, by and large, let us be. That was until Linda Caldwell happened. Newly elected as president of the HOA, Linda arrived like a pastel-clad hurricane of bureaucracy. She treated bylaws like gospel and clipboards like weapons. Her version of suburbia was sanitized, symmetrical, and suffocating. And she had her sights set on my ranch. She found offense in everything. The color of my barn. The way my haystack leaned after a storm. The occasional, earthy scent of manure drifting on the breeze. But nothing irked her more than my electric fence. She claimed it was dangerous, unsightly, and a blight on the neighborhood aesthetic. I told her flat out, if she could keep Maverick contained without it, I'd personally deliver her a gold-plated pair of wire cutters. She didn't laugh. Instead, she began waving around zoning maps and obscure ordinances from 3 decades ago. I thought it was noise. Annoying, sure. Harmless? I misjudged that. That afternoon, while I was out 2 towns over delivering a bulk feed order, my phone buzzed. A system alert. The electric fence had gone offline. My stomach dropped. A backup should have kicked in. I checked the gate logs. The bull gate had opened. Panic set in. Maverick had been trained to know when the hum of the fence stopped, it meant freedom. He tested the boundary before. Without power, there was nothing stopping him from wandering. I floored the gas pedal, praying he was still somewhere nearby. What I didn't know. The HOA's perfectly manicured streets were already the stage for a suburban rodeo. By the time I hit the main road back into the neighborhood, my phone was blowing up with texts, social media tags, and blurry footage of Maverick prancing across sidewalks like a sassy linebacker. He'd become a legend before I could even react. One video showed him barreling past a family grilling in their driveway. Another captured him pausing dramatically by a garden gnome, snorting as if offended by its hat. Linda's backyard security footage became the crown jewel. There she stood, wielding a pool noodle in one hand and a fanny pack in the other, shouting about livestock ordinances before locking herself in her garden shed as Maverick pawed at her flower bed. My own cameras told the rest of the story. There she was, Linda, wire cutters in hand, nodding at her landscaper. You could see her point. The landscaper hesitated. She insisted. He clipped the wire. The moment it snapped, my system logged the voltage drop. The gate disengaged. Maverick was free. When I arrived, it was pandemonium. A trio of HOA board members were trying to herd Maverick using lawn chairs and desperate optimism. Someone had tossed out a yoga mat like it might function as a lasso. One guy held out a bowl of kale chips as an offering. Maverick responded by bulldozing a wrought iron bench into splinters. Linda emerged, streaked with potting soil, screeching about public safety and threatening lawsuits. I didn't say a word. I pulled out my Bluetooth override, tapped the collar command, and watched Maverick's ears twitch. One chime, and he trotted over like a trained, slightly smug tornado. I gave him a beef pellet. He flicked his tail, unimpressed by the crowd, and followed me home. Linda tried to pivot, claimed she'd saved the neighborhood, that she'd heroically diverted the beast. But the crowd wasn't buying it. Someone shouted, "You let him out, Linda." Phones were recording. The landscaper cracked first. She told me to cut it. She said it was a lawn hazard. The internet did the rest. That night, I reviewed every second of footage. The damage. The panic. The evidence. Linda hadn't just meddled. She tampered with a registered livestock containment system. The implications were serious. Maverick could have hurt someone. By dawn, local news outlets were airing aerial footage of him galloping down Elia Lane like a furry freight train. Linda, hiding behind a recycling bin, made national headlines. One clip dubbed Maverick the HOA Avenger, complete with dramatic music. Linda was nowhere to be seen until midday, when she reemerged in sunglasses and a wide-brimmed hat, taping flyers to mailboxes claiming my ranch was a public menace. The next escalation? An emergency HOA directive. I watched her through binoculars, munching popcorn from my porch as she marched toward my fence with a small battalion of HOA loyalists. She shouted demands: take down the electric fence, replace it with a neighbor-friendly wooden enclosure, and submit design plans for approval. I pointed to the new steel sign bolted into the ground: private ranch, not HOA property. Trespassers meet Maverick. She ignored it, climbed the edge of my property, recording a live video accusing me of weaponizing livestock. She mocked Maverick, called him an overgrown lawnmower with attitude. Bad move. Maverick had been watching. His ears perked at her tone. His tail flicked once, twice. Then he moved. He didn't charge. Not at first. He trotted. Steady. Silent. Linda, mid-rant, froze. The camera captured her eyes widening. She bolted for an ornamental wagon wheel. Tried to climb it. It rolled. She toppled into a wheelbarrow full of compost. Her followers filmed. Someone cackled. Maverick snorted and walked away like a drama king exiting stage left. Linda emerged dripping muck and outrage. She ranted about safety inspections. I called out, try booking an appointment next time. The next HOA meeting? A comedy of errors. Linda arrived dressed in black like she was attending a funeral. Claimed I was running a domestic terror operation. Played a heavily edited video of Maverick from a bizarre angle to make him look rabid. It backfired. Someone yelled, play the real one. Phones lit up. AirDrop delivered the raw footage. Linda, snipping the wire. Linda, yelling at a gnome. Linda, hiding in a bin. Laughter exploded. The landscaper backed it all up. Said she paid him. Said she told him it was just for aesthetics. The HOA board suspended Linda. Pending investigation. She stormed out muttering about legal action. The next day, she filed a complaint with the county zoning board, accusing me of operating a dangerous livestock facility on suburban land. I arrived with permits, deed records, and high-definition footage. Her complaint was dismissed, but the county clerk did warn she might pursue civil action. Fine by me. I sent my lawyer audio of Linda telling the landscaper, cut it. He'll never notice. An insurance adjuster stopped by a week later. After a stroll around the property, he patted Maverick on the head and declared I was entitled to damage compensation. Linda's claim of emotional distress? Denied. Her final Hail Mary came in the form of Brent, an alleged livestock safety expert she brought to a follow-up HOA meeting. Brent tried to lecture the board on containment procedures, until he pointed at a goat on my property and called it an Angus bull. The room erupted. Brent exited. That night, the board voted to permanently remove Linda from her position. They billed her for all property damage and adopted a new policy: respect for pre-existing agricultural operations. A week later, Maverick strolled through an open HOA gate again, rolled in Linda's lawn sprinklers, flattened a plastic flamingo. Linda came out swinging a rake, slipped, fell in her koi pond. Again, the internet rejoiced. I leashed Maverick and walked him home. That weekend, I hosted a bull safety barbecue. Neighbors showed up wearing Team Maverick shirts. The cake was shaped like a broken clipboard. Maverick posed for selfies like a celebrity. Linda sent a card. Apologized. Included a gift card for a local feed store. Wrote, I lost my temper. And apparently, my mind. A month later, she moved. Her SUV passed the ranch one last time. Maverick watched from the fence, chewing hay like royalty. Peace returned to Willowgate. Porch parties. Tool swaps. A community garden. Even a spring fair, where Maverick was named honorary grand marshal. The HOA installed a small plaque at the park entrance, in honor of Maverick, guardian of neighborly common sense. I added one more sign to my gate. Welcome to Ironwood Ranch. Home of Maverick. Do not touch the fence. Last person who did moved.